Let's get started. I'm Vanessa Welly, Marketing Director at Logical Operations, and I'll be your host today. I'm joined by Nancy Curtis, VP Content at Logical Operations, James Barnum, EVP Sales at Logical Operations, and Magic Widgery, CEO at OpenEDG Python Institute. They've got a great agenda planned for you, so without further ado, I'll pass it over to Nancy to get us started.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Vanessa. Welcome again, everyone. I'm very pleased to be your guide for the first portion of this webinar, announcing the exciting new partnership between Logical Operations as a Python curriculum provider and the Python Institute as a certification provider. We are excited to join forces to bring our quality products together as a complete offering for the Python learning and development community. And we look forward to future opportunities to grow and deepen this relationship with the support and assistance of everyone here. So I'm going to switch over from camera mode to slide mode and talk a bit about the agenda. I'm going to speak to the first couple of items, including some high-level information about the Logical Operations Python curriculum products. And then I'll hand things over to our colleague Maciek to discuss the Python Institute certification program. And James will wind us up with some helpful go-to-market actions, and there should be plenty of time for general questions. So what is driving the demand for quality Python training and certification options? Why are LO and the Python Institute so convinced of the huge value of Python skills? As you can see from just a couple of brief statistics, the market has spoken and is clearly demonstrating the tremendous value of demonstrable Python competencies. Not only salaries for Python professionals high and getting higher, but even at this compensation level, tens of thousands or 100,000 or more jobs are going unfilled. Those facts add up to huge opportunity for competent professionals with the right set of demonstrable skills and a huge opportunity for Python training and certification to get them there. Beyond the market value of the qualified Python practitioners, Python itself consistently ranks at or near the top of all programming languages in popularity. I selected a few eye-opening benchmarks to show here, and I think you're going to see some more interesting information later in the program. But you don't have to do very much research on relevant industry sites to read the same story everywhere. Python is everywhere, and as far as I can tell, it's only getting bigger. It's not going away, which means that any time is a great time to get involved in Python. Now, why is Python so popular and so widely adopted? Here are a few of the reasons that I found in my research. And I should mention, I did research because I'm not personally a Python expert. I am not a code head, but I work around the super smart people who are. And I've been hearing this story from them for years and seeing Logical Operations Python-related curriculum products grow in popularity because the experts who do know appreciate all these aspects of Python. I'm not going to rattle them off, you can read on the slide, but these are the characteristics that make Python so versatile and so highly preferred by the technical experts. And that versatility is really why Python has firmly established itself as the language of choice for an unbelievable number of applications and uses. And here are just a few. Python is so adaptable, I filled a whole slide full of applications up in about 10 minutes. And again, I'm not going to read everyone off to you, but I want to point out right at the top a couple of today's absolutely hottest technical areas, including specializations related to data science, machine learning, and the all-important, all-pervasive artificial intelligence, which Python is a wonderfully optimized tool to support. You might be wondering what's running the code behind some chatbot that's answering all your questions on the internet now? Well, it very well could be Python. And who wrote that code? We'd all better hope that it's a properly trained and qualified certified Python professional. And once again, with just a smaller route of research, I uncovered just a starter list of organizations, big and small, from commerce and industry to government and finance, who are all using Python, trusting Python, and leveraging the strengths of Python in their applications. And those applications need Python developers, and those developers need the right skill set to join and support any of these projects and initiatives. So let's talk a bit about those Python developers, who they are now and who they could become through a structured learning and certification path. One of the great things that I read about Python over and over and heard from the experts is that the path to Python expertise can start wherever you are. Python training and certification is an opportunity for individuals who are currently in a great range of industries and roles. The barriers to entry are lower for Python than for other coding languages, and it doesn't necessarily require an existing background with programming experience or technical skills. So when you start scanning some of these job roles on the left, you probably recognize quite a few of them, and you can probably think of lots more roles from your own experience who could leverage Python expertise to grow into the more advanced, high demand, high reward technical careers on the right. And the offerings from Logical Operations and the Python Institute are a great way to help those individuals take the first step on that growth path. So let's dig in a little bit more into that pathway. From the curriculum perspective, Logical Operations has a concise curriculum path that aligns well with the Python Institute certifications and covers key Python skills even for learners who, as I said, don't have prior programming experience. Learners can get started developing in Python using the fundamental skills in our introductory course, and then move on in the advanced course to more advanced applications and techniques. As far as placing learners in these courses, in terms of specific skill prerequisites, I would say that students coming into that introductory course absolutely need to be competent with baseline personal computer skills. They need to know their way around Windows. They need to be comfortable at a computer keyboard. It can be helpful if that learner has some coding background, especially in an object-oriented language, but it's not a requirement because Logical Operations designed the introduction to programming with Python as a general introduction to programming as well. Now, learners who are coming to the Advanced Techniques course should certainly have taken the introductory course and probably have at least some field experience coding in Python. That would be our recommended prerequisite path. Now, in a minute, I'm going to talk a bit more depth about how those courses work together with the Python Institute certification offerings, and of course, and there'll be more information from MedCheck toward the middle of the presentation. But I also want to take a bit of a side trip and point out that a Python skill set can be a great entry point to further specialized training and potentially further related certifications. So this sample learning pathway shows how a learner can start with our introductory Python training, move into something more specialized with Python data science tools, and then further into exploring certification and training options from our sister company, CertNexus. Now, my friend James is going to touch a little bit more on this more later on. So for now, let's return to the baseline information and look briefly at how the Logical Operations and Python Institute offerings line up. In this partnership, Logical Operations is the source for quality instructor-led curriculum, as well as optional virtual lab environments for training situations where you don't necessarily have access to the Python environment on premise. The Python Institute is providing the full professional Python certification path, which, because it's vendor neutral, is a great complement and companion to other industry certifications. Here is a snapshot of that certification pathway, which Maciek will talk about in more depth in just a minute or so, with some notes I dropped in about how the logical operations curriculum can support candidate preparation for each exam. There's going to be more detail available following this webinar. James will talk about a great marketing kit we've put together with all the relevant product information. So I'm not going to spend too much time on the specifics of the content of the courseware, but this list of learning objectives will give you an idea of outcomes that learners will achieve in the introductory Python course and in the advanced course. As far as how the courses are structured, again, you'll see this full outline in the marketing kit if you take advantage of that. But this will give you a sense of how the introductory Python course covers the entire arc from initial environment setup through all the key baseline Python programming skills, while the advanced course takes an interesting case-by-case approach to leverage that fundamental Python skill set to create a range of different application types in Python. And with that, I'm going to pass the microphone to Maciek to talk more about the certification. So take it away.
All right, thank you, Nancy. All right, so my name is Maciek Wichary, and I'm with OpenEDG Python Institute. And I have to say that today we have really great reasons to celebrate. One is this fantastic partnership that we have with Logical Operations, and we announced that today. And secondly, yeah, well, you can probably see that I'm talking from the biggest Python conference from Salt Lake City. So like today, Salt Lake City is like a world capital for Python developers. And I have to admit, I'm overexcited. So apologies in advance if that would affect my presentation, right? All right, so I'm here to talk about Python certification. And let me start with, yeah, we're talking about #1 Python certification. And I would like to start my presentation with that. And I think that the first big player that recognized this certification as extremely important is Cisco. Actually, it's not really my slide. I borrowed this slide from Cisco. So Cisco started to show, and it keeps showing Python certification next to still the most important certifications in IT industry ever, in networking actually, which is CCNA and CCNP. So that's really, like, I would say the first time that such a big player really started saying that, you know, Python certification is as important as, you know, networking certification. All right. Governments also recognize us, quite often they use our certification in tenders. This is the example of UK government encouraging UK citizens to go for Python certification. This actually, that's from the pandemic time. Universities give university credit for a Python certification. So if you study in one of those universities, it's going to be easier for you to get a degree if you are Python certified. This is the example of Open University. And there is actually thousands of companies that are buying the certification for their employees. Of course, I didn't really put like thousands of companies in this slide because that would actually make it look funny. Yeah, so instead I was just, you know, picking up names that actually sounds familiar to me. So we'd have a glance of, you know, what companies are actually really appreciating us and using this certification. But most importantly, several hundred thousands of individuals actually trusted us and got certified. And the reason I'm extremely excited is that a lot of them are here. They are approaching us saying, yeah, I got a job because I got certified. Like yesterday, there was a guy saying, yeah, and that one was, interviewing me, and he was also approaching us. So that was really, really fantastic, and still is. Actually, I can show you that it's really happening. I don't know if you can actually see that, but yeah. All right. What's also important, we are contributing sponsor of the Python programming language itself. So whenever you make like a decision to use our service, you pay us for something, you are also contributor, because part of that is going to go to Python itself. So, to make this product even better than it is today. Yeah, we also sponsor this event that I'm right now. So I have this beautiful badge with sponsor name on it. All right, so let me talk about certification. PCAP, Certified Entry-Level Python Programmer. When we talk about this certification, we say, yeah, you get your foot in the door, right? You can even get a job with the certification, but most likely it's going to be like internship. With this certification, you can prove to your employer that you spent at least like 35, 40 hours learning Python. You had the courage to take this exam. So, at the end of the day, your employer would invest in you, trust you that it's really something worth doing to hire you. All right. It's not really long exam. You can take it online. It's just 40 minutes. So you can take it from home, which is, no excuse not to do that. All right, PCAP, Certified Associate in Python Programming. Yeah, you would need like more than 70 hours unless you're very, very skilled and you learn very fast. But I think it's going to be like at least 70 hours to get ready for the exam. This one is delivered with Pearson VUE only, but there is also like online option here. You can take it with UnVUE. However, there is way more security features implemented. There is Live Proctor. He will try not to stress you out, but yeah, we really need that. The exam is a bit longer, and yeah, at the end of the day, you can take it from home also. Then there is Certified Professional in Python Programming. Yeah, we actually encourage you to have at least 1 year experience before you approach this exam. It's also delivered with Pearson VUE, and yes, you can also take it from home. What's important to mention that now all of those exams, all of those certifications are for life. They never expire. So, all right, thank you. And James, I think the stage is yours now.
Thanks, Magic. Yeah, before we dig into some concrete go-to-market guidance, let's have a brief recap from a sales angle. But if you're not in a sales or business development position, don't leave, because there will be some details for instructors and delivery folks at the end of this presentation. Just to, as I said, recap for those who aren't aware of the TOB index. They have since the year 2000 specialized in addressing and tracking the quality of software, as well as closely monitoring the range of use of existing and emerging programming languages. As Nancy mentioned, it's widely recognized that Python is the #1 most adopted programming language today, and also the most popular language in the context of emerging technologies like machine learning and data science. And this is interesting, as AI, artificial intelligence or machine learning and data science are at the top of the job boards. There is a significant skills deficit in AI and data science, and simply put, there aren't enough people with the proven skills required to fulfill the hundreds of thousands of jobs available. And it all starts with Python. So what is the opportunity with these most in-demand jobs? The top of the list of the most in-demand AI job is machine learning engineer, according to Indeed, who I'm sure all of you know, where 75% of job postings require this profile. And in terms of remuneration, so the average salary for that position is a healthy $140,000 a year on average. The CertNexus Certified Artificial Intelligence Practitioner certification, or CAPE for short, proves skills which would enable a person to do this job. And Python is a prerequisite before attending the CAPE course or sitting the CAPE certification exam. Similarly, level 2 or 3 data scientists can prove their skills with the CertNexus Certified Data Scientist certification, or CDSP for short, and again with a very healthy salary for people in these positions. Once again, Python is the prerequisite. So why certification? And what is the difference between a certification or no certification, or even a certificate of completion? Simply put, a certification, and I'll emphasize the word certification and not certificate, tells people who don't know you that you can do the things that you say you can do. It doesn't mean that if you don't hold a PCAP or a PCAP or CAPE or CDSP certifications that you don't know what you're doing. It simply means that people with certifications do know what they're doing. It's basically a transparent way of showcasing your knowledge. So to summarize on this point, Python complements or acts as a prerequisite for many other certification programs, both vendor neutral and vendor specific. Knowledge proven provides confidence that an individual has the prerequisite knowledge to attend CertNexus CAPE, CDSP, or Cybersecure Coder training and prepare for the certification, which in turn would demonstrate capabilities of general concepts. And similarly, vendors like Microsoft, AWS, and Google certifications, which focus on platform-specific skills, also require Python knowledge. So getting into the nitty-gritty of what we can provide for you, and from a go-to-market perspective, we're going to be supporting our channel with go-to-market assets in the form of a marketing toolkit, which is available to all of you free of charge. Within the toolkit, you'll find course outlines, exam syllabi, social media post templates, email templates, sell sheets, a whole bunch of stuff that will dynamically be updated, obviously, as we go along, but some really good stuff to get you started. And if I had to highlight some calls to action, I'm going to split this between the commercial and the delivery side of your organization. So from a sales and marketing perspective, I would say identify your audience, who you're going to market to. This will likely be a combination of existing customers as well as recruitment of new customers, which you will garner from a campaign. Understand the market in terms of the industry demand of these competencies in your specific region, which you serve, and include this in your campaigns. Use the collateral that we provide you with to help build your campaign. And if you need help with anything else, of course, reach out to us. And importantly, add Python training matched to the Python Institute certifications on your public-facing schedule as part of the campaign so that your sales team have something to sell on to. Also consider building a roadmap starting with Python and ending through machine learning or data science tracks. We can help you with this, and I've got everything you need. From the instructor perspective, we will actually be holding a trainer-trainer event for you in May. You'll find the application QR code in one of the next slides. I'll go into more detail in a couple of minutes. And we'll also receive, as part of being accepted onto the TTT, sponsoring assets. So we would sponsor you with instructor assets and also certification vouchers for PCAP and, if requested, PCAP. There are limited spaces, so please apply ASAP if you're interested in that. Also, I would say that you should consider holding sort of short, low-tech masterclasses on Python for your sales teams to give them the ammunition to sell, the ammunition that they can use to sell to their clients. Lastly, be the advocates of these certifications and training. So if you do get a certification yourself, blitz it around on social, talk about it. Ultimately, as instructors, people trust you, and it will basically grow the pool. So breaking it down, Python is the programming language with the greatest demand and usage. It is a gateway language for careers in the most prevalent occupations today. Python Institute offers the leading certifications which validate an individual's Python skills and competencies. We're here to help you to go to market or transition your existing offering to foster greater value for your customers. And remember that this is a proven opportunity. Python Institute, as Magic has told us, has delivered hundreds of thousands of certifications worldwide. So this is not shooting into the dark. And Logical Operations has got 40 years of experience of creating best-in-class courseware. So together we're a pretty good team. So finally, and again for trainers, and as mentioned a couple of minutes ago, we have this TTT or TTT sessions, which will be delivered in May. As I mentioned, there will be a short application form. So if you've got your mobile phones there, snap on the QR code that's on the screen now, and that will take you to the application form, and with just a few questions there. Basically, we just want to make sure that the folks that are attending TTTs are legitimate instructors. We'll also be obviously sending the link to the application form in a follow-up after this call. The TTT will be complimentary. It will be delivered by a Python expert who is also a co-author of Logical Operations courseware. The ambition of the TTT is not to teach instructors Python, it's to familiarize them with the course content and highlight the areas to focus on mapped against the exam objectives. And as I said, Logical Operations and Python Institute will sponsor accepted instructors with instructor courseware and certification vouchers to prepare you for delivering courses and preparing your students for certification. So I'm going to hand it back over to Vanessa now, who will moderate hopefully some questions that we've got from the audience.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, James and Nancy and Magic. Great content. Now is the time for questions. We've got a bunch of questions that have come through, really good questions about the content. So I'll start reading those off. And if anyone else has other questions as we're going through these, please feel free to submit those. So I did see a few questions come in specific to the courseware and just a little bit more information here. So I'll read those to the team here. So first question, does the beginner LO material cover PCEP and the advanced LO material covers the PCAP exam? How do the courses align with the certifications?
I'll take that one. This is a new partnership, and the Logical Operations curriculum was designed, and the Python Institute exam path was designed, and we are marrying them as an offering. I would say your best approach is to take the complete curriculum path and then proceed through your certification pathway. There is detailed information available with the courseware when you purchase it that explains how the material in the curriculum addresses the various certification objectives between the 3 exams and the 2 courses.
Great. Thank you so much, Nancy. And then another question, how many hours is the intro Python course as well as the advanced Python course?
I'll take that one again. I think the 2 courses together add up to a complete business week of training, essentially 5 days of training. So the intro course is about 2 days. So I'm not sure what contact hours that would be. It kind of depends on the delivery organization, how they run their day or how they run their program, but maybe 13 or 14 contact hours for the introductory course, and maybe something like 21 contact hours or more for the advanced course for a complete 5-day training experience.
Perfect. Thanks, Nancy. Another question, wanting to know when the courses are available. Are they available now? Are they coming?
No.
Perfect. Great. And we have a couple of people.
And the certifications, courses and certifications. The complete program's available now, right, guys?
Yep. Perfect. Thanks, Nancy. And then a couple of people asking about the cost for the entry level up through advanced. then that might be something, I know, James, maybe you or your team want to send separately, depending on, who is reaching out. We could get information.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see all of these, as Nancy said, all of this is available now, so you can go to the Logical Operations store and find those products. Or you can just email info@logicaloperations.com, or if you know your sales representative at Logical Operations, if you're an existing customer, reach out to them. But yeah, easiest way is probably mail info@logicaloperations.com, and we'll get the information to you.
Sounds great. And in the follow-up email that you mentioned, James, we can include a link to the products as well on the store.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Another question, how do participants get the toolkits? I believe that's referencing the marketing toolkits. We will send, and James, feel free to answer here.
Yeah, sure. So marketing toolkit, sorry, Vanessa, you're probably going to answer at the same time. Marketing toolkit link that will be included in the follow-up mail to this this webinar, which will come out beginning of next week. There'll be a recording of the webinar itself, and there'll be a link to the marketing toolkit, so you can get started. Again, you can reach out to your LO representative as well, or again, you can mail info@logicaloperations.com if you're really impatient and want to get it before you get a follow-up mail. Any of those is fine.
Perfect. And then a couple of questions asking about the trainer dates. I know we covered that. Maybe I'll move the slides back to that just so we can see up here. And you can use the QR code to get information to the registration form. We'll also include that information in the follow-up email, so you have it for reference.
But do apply quickly, because as I said, there's limited seats on that. So if you're interested, it will take like 1 minute to fill out that application. And yeah, and obviously the TTT is complimentary, and we sponsor the courseware, which you can use as an instructor to deliver courses, and you get certification vouchers to attempt the certifications yourself. So it's a high value event. So really encourage any of you who are instructors, or for those of you that represent organizations, forward this information on to your instructors, the relevant instructors, to get involved in this. Perfect.
We have a couple other questions about the Train the Trainer. The first one is, how long is the Train the Trainer? And as you can see up here, we've got the 2 dates on Wednesday, May 17th, and Thursday, May 25th. And a follow-up question to that, someone's asking if I can only attend one of the Train the Trainer sessions. Is there one specifically that I should attend over the other? How does that work?
I'll say that if you can only pick one, it is a continuous presentation. If you can only pick one, start at the start, because in addition to covering best delivery tips and advice for the introductory Python course, there'll also be some information about the Logical Operations instructional product in general and its features and applications. So I would say start at the start, and then if you can't come to the second one, then if you're registered, you'll get the recording. And I believe it's correct that instructors who hold choice keys to either the introductory or advanced course in their choice account will also have those videos of the Train the Trainer available as a value-add resource.
Perfect. Thank you, Nancy. We've got a few other questions. Someone is chiming in saying they're just a beginner. Which certification should we prefer? I think Nancy touched upon that a little bit before about, starting at the beginning.
Yes, and since the question's specific about certifications, I would say PCEP is your best starting point, but Maciek, do you maybe want to speak to that directly, since the question is particularly certification related?
Yes, definitely. You should start with PCAP exam, entry-level exam. Like that's the first step, absolutely, anytime. Then you can proceed for PCAP, and that would be really good point to start looking for a job and actually go into this industry. And maybe next year visit us in, I don't know if it's going to be in Salt Lake City, but this conference is really amazing. Like this community is like very helpful. They help each other. You can find like help online. You can and here you can find help like in person. So yeah, that's really great journey. I really encourage you to start.
Great. Thank you so much, Magic. We do have some folks interested in getting a copy of the slides. I'm sure that's something we could share along with the recording link in that follow-up email as well.
Sure.
Perfect. Another question. Someone chiming in to say, I am PCEP, PCAP, and PCPP1 certified. I'd like to proceed to the forthcoming data analysis and testing certifications. When would those be available? Would LO have corresponding courses for those as well?
Yeah, for the CertNexus data science, but yeah, if it was the certifications that I mentioned, then absolutely all available. Yeah, you can mail info@logicaloperations.com. That will get to me and my team, and we'll get back to you and share all the details. But everything's available now, and you can actually go to certnexus.com and view all of the certifications there now.
Perfect. Thank you, James. Yep, and people chiming in, one will be sent links to register for the train the trainer. Yep, a couple options. You can use the QR code right now, or we'll send additional information in that same follow-up email. Or as James said, go ahead and use that info@logicaloperations.com email address, and we'll get you the information that way, though follow-up emails are soon to come early next week.
And just to emphasize that QR code, because some TTTs is literally where you register and show up. That QR code takes you to an application to attend it. And the only reason we're doing that is to make sure that this event is attended by trainers only. And sometimes we get students that come in and think it's actually the whole course that's being delivered, which it's not. It's being specifically intended for trainers. So that's why we're providing this application to make sure we're getting the right audience in there for that. So yeah, but it takes 1 minute to fill out.
Great. And let's see, we've got a few other questions. These are great questions. A couple more. Let's see, I think this one is for James. How would I be able to see the learning paths that you mentioned in your part of the presentation?
Yeah, sure. Again, mail info@logicaloperations.com. That will get to me, and either myself or one of my team will get back to you and take you through some of the learning paths. We've got some pretty cool things there. Yeah, really looking at ecosystems of technologies. So yeah, some great stuff. So do mail us and I'll get that to you.
Perfect. Then I have a person chiming in to asking to share our website. That might be the CertNexus website that James just mentioned, or if that's talking about links to the Python products on the store, we will make sure to include those direct links in the follow-up information for you. And as James just said, if you'd like to see learning paths, send us an email at info@logicaloperations.com and we can get that information over to you. So lots of great questions. I do have another comment. This is for Magic. I think people are noticing, of course, that you were live at a conference. So we have a couple questions of people wondering if you can share just a little bit more information about that, like how many people are at the conference that you're attending and what's going on there.
Yes, like there is like 2,000 people here. Have to say, yeah, I can actually show you around. I think people started to leave because there is like going to be a keynote speaker in a like couple of minutes. Yeah, but it's really huge. Absolutely fantastic. People. Oh yeah, I have an info. Yeah, that's our booth. Like there's like 5 of us here. Yeah, but most of the team already left for this keynote speaker. Yeah, Guido van Rossum, the creator of Python, is here. I haven't seen him yet, but I'll try to take a picture with him. This is really, really exciting. And well, if you enter this path, if you have a chance to visit, you should definitely do that.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that information. It looks like we are up to date on all of the questions. There are a couple that we'll reach out to you directly, separately after the webinar. But at this point in time, I'd like to thank you everyone for joining us. Great conversation here at the end. And thank you so much to our presenters, Nancy, James, and Magic. Thanks so much. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.